Trichotillomania is a disorder in which an individual feels the sudden urge to pull out their hair, whether it be from anxiety, stress, or even just because, to feel some sort of relief. I was diagnosed with trichotillomania 15 years ago when I was 6 years old. I started by pulling out my eyelashes, which slowly evolved into pulling out my eyebrows and even the hair from my head to the point where I had bald spots. I started pulling out my hair because at the time I was moving to a brand new school that I was completely unfamiliar with, and also my parents had been getting a separation. At the time, my eyelids already had patches on them because that was when I just had started pulling them out. And I would do it during class. The kids would notice that I would have my fingers up to my eyelids and I would just be pulling and pulling and pulling. And they noticed that, and they noticed that I had all these spots on my eyelids, and I was bullied relentlessly for it. And all the other kids, they made me feel that I was less than them and that I felt so ugly. I felt that I wasn't as pretty as the other girls in the class, and they made fun of me for that. And I think that's where a lot of my self-esteem issues started, and I really started to resent myself and the disorder as a whole. My parents saw how much the bullying affected me, and they decided to put me into a new school. And it was a lot better than the old school, but even so, my classmates were still very wary of me because I had bald spots all over my head. And that was because at the time I started pulling out the hair from my head, and around my chair there was always just clumps of hair just everywhere. I remember it got to a point where one of my classmates actually started crying during class because she thought all the bald spots on my head were because I had cancer and that I was dying. I kept pulling the hair out of my head and my eyebrows out up until 8th grade, and then from then on I just kept pulling out my eyelashes. Even into high school, I just kept doing it. My eyelids were still very, very bare. But going into high school, I had met a bunch of brand new friends, and they didn't even judge me for not having eyelashes. It was something that they didn't even notice when they first met me. It made me realize that people can see me for who I am, and I'm not just someone who doesn't have eyelashes. People can see me for who I am, for my personality and my interests, and that really changed my perspective on things and did boost my self-esteem a little bit. Towards the end of high school, I started wearing fake eyelashes. I had tried once before in 8th grade, but I didn't like it. I didn't like the person looking back at me because I didn't recognize her. At the end of high school, I started wearing them for cosplay and for fun events and stuff for my high school graduation. And I grew to become comfortable with that. I just started looking at myself in the mirror, and I was like, that's just me with fake eyelashes on. That doesn't change who I am as a person. And when I entered college, I discovered a beautiful thing called eyeliner. And I started wearing eyeliner every day in junior year because I found it to be an easier alternative for fake eyelashes, because I felt that I did not like the texture of the fake eyelash glue on my eyes, but with the eyeliner it was so much lighter, you just didn't feel it. It was so easy for me to draw on, and it makes me feel better about myself. Over the years, I've gotten a lot of questions about my trichotillomania, but one of the primary ones is why do you do it? Why do you pull out your hair? Doesn't that hurt? At first, it did hurt. It was very uncomfortable, but I got a large sense of relief from it. But now it doesn't hurt anymore, at all, it's a double-edged sword, essentially, because that means that I can just keep picking my eyelashes out, even keep picking when it's just skin and nothing there, and that means that my eyelids can get very swollen, and that I can even just keep picking till the point where my eyes start to bleed. Of course, sometimes I think about myself maybe in the future having my own natural full set of eyelashes again, and I stop pulling. There have been multiple times where I thought that would happen again, but I end up spiraling down and pulling them all out again. I know that I don't need a full set of natural eyelashes. Just because I don't have eyelashes on my eyes, that doesn't define me less as a person. That doesn't make me any less beautiful or anything like that. And I know that people don't view me differently for it anymore, and if I never have a full set of eyelashes again, I'm perfectly okay with that, because I'm okay with the person I am and I'm comfortable with me.
Do you love it? It's a little itchy. What's this thing made of?
Eyelashes!